This next recipe is my alkalising green smoothie. This recipe is so dear to my heart because I have been talking about this for nearly 3 decades now. It's a very specific combination including lemons and green vegetables, but sometimes again it's what you leave out that is so important. This recipe sets the scene in the gut for the right environment to grow the right bacteria, and it provides the fibres from the vegetables to help grow those bacteria. So depending on where your gut health is at the moment, you can keep the recipe as simple or as complex as you like. Let your gut be the guide as to what you can tolerate. So it starts with a beautiful lemon. We're using the juice of a whole lemon, but as you get more adventurous, I'd encourage you to use the pith and the peel as well, starting small and then building. We're also using a little knob of ginger, and the base recipe includes cucumber, celery, some parsley, which is powerfully alkalizing, some beautiful flat or curly parsley, and some mint. That's going to add a beautiful flavor, but it's also powerfully antihistamine. That's it for the base recipe, using some coconut water and a little bit of salt. Now, the most important thing is to blend it up so that it's nice and smooth, and to consume it very slowly, because that's a lot of nutrition going into the gut. And I'm going to tell you more as I'm making this. The base recipe includes the juice of half a lemon. So this is so important for bile flow. And bile is a very important aspect of digestion and gut health, but also overall health, because bile is how we emulsify fats, and it is also how we transport toxins out of the body. And so having your gallbladder producing bile is important for the removal of cholesterol, because 4 to 5% of your bile is cholesterol. Juice of half a lemon is in the base mix, as well as a small bunch of parsley. Parsley is very powerfully alkalizing, and it's also going to support your liver health and function, which of course part of that is producing bile to be stored in the gallbladder. We've got a knob of ginger, which is powerfully antihistamine, and it is also very warming and nourishing for the digestion. Great for this smoothie. We've also got a cucumber and just 1 stick of celery to start off with. So we're easing in gently. Of course, if you don't tolerate cold and wet foods, you would wait until you improve your gut health. A bunch of mint is in the base recipe. And that will do. We now just add some coconut water to make it liquid enough to be able to consume. Now, my secret to this particular smoothie is what I've left out, where it doesn't have any fruit and it doesn't have any kale. We don't want to be consuming raw kale, that's not good for our thyroid, and we've eliminated fruit because we don't want the fructose. We want an alkalizing smoothie that's going to alkalize the gut to make it the right environment to grow the right bacteria, and in this smoothie we're also providing the fibres to grow that bacteria as well. My secret is to add a little bit of salt, because then you're not looking for the sweetness. And pink Himalayan crystal salt is also alkalizing, and it's going to help your body taking up the nourishment of this smoothie. That all goes into the blender, and we're going to blend away. There's a lot of nutrition and a lot of fibre in this beautiful drink. It's also beautiful and frothy to start off with. And you want to consume it whilst it's nice and bright and green, because as the day goes on, it does go a little bit more khaki or olive. And whilst it's still got the beautiful fibres, it doesn't taste as fresh. So this is a alkalizing smoothie that you need to consume at least once a day. This is the most powerful gut health habit you will ever develop. And if I do nothing else than convince you to consume this every day, I'm doing a great job. That is delicious. And with that little bit of salt, it's like a beautiful salad dressing. I just love it. And my body loves it as well. If you consume this nice and slowly, you'll digest it really well. Don't gulp it down. There's a lot of nutrition in there. So what I suggest to people is that you chew your smoothie. Doesn't necessarily mean that there's chunks in it that you need to chew, although if you don't blend it long enough, there will be chunks. But to chew it is about actually taking your time so your body can take on board that nutrition. I can already feel my gallbladder loving this, as well as my liver and my gut. The next layer to this smoothie is to start adding more fibres and more variety. So we've got the base smoothie with just the celery, just the cucumber, the mint and the parsley, the ginger and the lemon and a bit of salt. That is a beautiful baseline with lots of soluble and a little bit of insoluble fibres in there. As you get used to having the smoothie daily and your gut is loving it, then as the days go on and you're consuming it, I want you to bring in more variety. So more variety of fibres into the smoothie to make it even greater benefit for your gut, and especially with growing more variety of Bacteroides species, which is going to bring resilience in your health. To add to your smoothie to bring more variety so that you're growing more variety of gut bacteria, do this really slowly, add one thing at a time, and listen to your gut. If you're alkalizing daily and you're used to having an alkaline environment in the gut, which is where you're going to be growing more of the variety of good bacteria, so keep going, you want to be adding just more fibres of different variety. We're sticking with the same theme. We're sticking with all green because this is going to be more powerfully alkalizing. So there's not carrot, there's not beetroot, there's not any of the other colours. We're sticking with green. Here's some ideas. If you're resilient enough, you can add in some snow peas, just a couple, and this is where we're going for 30 plant fibres every single day. So a couple of snow peas can be added. The other interesting part that you can add is not the carrot, we don't want the orange, but we can add in the tops of the carrot. That's really helpful. So beautiful, soft carrot tops. It looks like dill, which would also be nice in there, but this is actually carrot tops. You can add in some lettuce, like some cos lettuce or some rocket can be added. Just a few leaves of beautiful peppery rocket. If you like rocket, you'll love this being added to the smoothie. If you're not a fan of celery, it doesn't matter. You can use some fennel instead. Just a little bit of fennel into the smoothie will add another dimension of taste, but also these beautiful fibres, which is going to also bring more variety to your bacteria. I keep on going on about that, don't I? And the last thing that you could add, especially if you're used to eating quite a bit of Brassicaceae family, is you can add a little bit of broccoli stem. That is going to bring in even more beautiful fibres for the health of this smoothie. Next level again is to start adding the skin and the pith of the lemon. So pretty much putting in a whole quarter of a lemon. This is really going to stimulate your liver, gallbladder and bile flow. This is where it's at. Powerfully alkalizing and powerful for bile flow, which is your ticket to really good health. That can all go in, and I'll buzz it up again. Here it goes in a long tall glass. Oh, a little bit chunky.